just to show you, I'm working on the next hill here. Now, I want these hills to look well for the slot car track as well as a background, you know, like this one. You know, so it's not just for crawlers, it'll look great with the slot cars. So again, just to show you what I do, I made a paper template, and I've cut it out to the shape that I need. Okay, take that out. So that's the shape I need. And then I have my block. I also have my block of styrofoam. Now we can turn that around this way. I'll show you what I'm up to. So again, you put your template on there. Okay, that's a little bit too big for this piece of styrofoam, but that's okay. I'll use this end as a driveway heading up. So you put it there, and you mark onto your styrofoam. Now, but don't forget, that's against the back wall. You see, that's against the back wall. So I mark this. I'm now going to flip this because this is going to be the bottom. Okay, so now this is the top of the hill. Okay, so I'm not cutting here because this is the wall. I am cutting here because it matches this hill, but this hill comes out with an angle. So I've had to put a mark here where I'm going to cut this angle. Okay, so you know, that's why I have all these markings. This is where the track is underneath, but I want to go here because I want this wall to be like this. I want to sort of overhang the track a little bit, like I have done with this hill here. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go out and cut this with a knife now, and let's see. I'll show you my first fitting and see how far off I am with my very crude markings. Everything is fixable with this styrofoam. It's great stuff to work with, and it's incredibly light, you know. Okay, let's go and cut this. Now, just to show you, if you're going to cut this stuff, the best time to cut it, as you can see, with all these little white bits, is in the snow. Because my missus loves her garden, and she doesn't want to see bits of this stuff floating all over the garden. Now, I'll keep that, but small bits, they go everywhere. So cut it during the snow. Look, you can't see it. It blends in. And by the time the winter comes, it will have disappeared. I'm not cutting it in the garage because it'll stick to everything in the garage. It's stuck to me. It's all over me, everywhere. Look, stuck to my camera, stuck to my clothes. It's messy stuff to work with. Now they're cutting with the hacksaw blade. This is a knife. Cutting with the hacksaw blade will leave less of a mess. But I wanted a fairly rough cut for this piece. I'm going to go in and test it now and see how the initial fit is. I've cut it at an angle. Let's see how it goes. So guys, here's the initial fit. It's not bad. Let me think. I need to cut a bit off there, or I could leave that. No, let me see, if I cut a bit off here, I can bring this closer to this hill, and this will move this piece up a little bit, and I take a little bit off that bend there. That bit looks okay. And on top of this, I will be putting some shorter pieces up here, and then we'll continue this, make it interesting. Okay, I'm going to go out and cut a little bit and try and get it to match that bend there. And as I was saying, a whiteboard marker, any marker is, but these whiteboard markers for me are great. So that can get cut. Cut a few bits off there, so I'll mark that. I think I can take a bit off there. Slowly, yeah. Okay, I just want to get a little bit closer to there. Reduce that a little bit. So, you know, I might actually mark this hill in there. On there. Okay. So now I have a mark there. So I'm going to continue to cut that piece off there. So I'm not going to cut this piece yet. until I cut this piece off and see how far up it slides now. And you go in and out. You do this a few times until you get it the way you want it. So here we go. I have that fitting fairly good. I have to cut out a few grooves there, make that a bit like that so it can, so this hillside can fit into it. Yeah, like that. And it goes back against the wall. It's not bad. No problems about things like this. That's no problem. Stick a bit of modelling in there, you know. So I've only one little tiny piece to cut out. Now, the idea is I'm going to have a gate in the fencing, in the barriers, so the crawlers can come through the fence and go up onto this hill. Continue across, and from here go across onto this hill. Yeah. So I have to make up my mind what way, think up some ideas using other pieces of styrofoam, you know, how I want to do this hill. I could use that piece there, but that won't work because then you have a big gap there. So I have to get a bigger piece, it has to go across to here and cut it then at an angle to fit onto this hill. So there's a bit of thinking to do, but that's the first initial part of that hill. So here's what I have so far. I have my root going up. Okay, that'll be the root up. That'll be the high point there. It's not so high because you can't, you know, it's the size of the piece at the bottom that governs how steep it can be. So unfortunately, you can only get a certain steepness and then the cars will tip over. So that's about as steep as I can go. So I've glued these pieces together. I'm just cutting some grooves which will make it interesting later on when I start doing the details. But I'll have something here. This is alternative route, won't be quite as high as that route down. This I'll cut a little bit and make it to sort of blend into this, and I'll add a piece on here. At the moment I've done enough for today. I gotta put a piece here and I gotta cut it and mold it to sort of blend in a little bit. So that's the end of this post. You can see, so now I can leave my slotcar track with the crawler and go up the hills at a reasonably steep angle. That's almost on the limit of the FMS. So I'll let all those pieces glue. So that's it. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching that. It's only informative if you're planning to do something like this. So that's just part one of this crawler hill. And of course I have the other two I'm working on as well over here. Everything's a big mess. The whole room is a big mess. But that's what happens when you're doing some stuff like this. So that's it. Enough of the hills. I'm going to continue on moulding this. I'll show you the finished mould then, what I've done before I start to plaster it. And then I'll show you putting some of this plaster on. I might also use a bit of expanding foam on the same hill maybe, just to bring out some different contours and that. We'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Just a quick post, just about building a hill. It can be for crawlers, it can just be a modelling hill for your track, whatever you want it to be. Okay, that's it.